What's up, everybody? This is John Kaker here with my wife, Kat, and we are in the sports betting capital of the world, the city of Las Vegas. This week, we're going to go over our NFL Week 15 pick'ems. We're going to go one by one. We're going to see what Kat thinks. We're going to see what I think. If we disagree, we're going to ask each other to go on record to verify that. And that's going to count against our all-time win and loss record. From our previous episode, I got the Jags over the Bengals prediction wrong. So I am 0 for 1. So I'm off to a terrible start. So I'm going to be super aggressive. I got 5 games that I'm going to verify. And I need to get that win-loss record up. So, Kat, you ready?
Yeah, I, to be honest, did not do any research, and I'm going in cold, so let's see if I know enough about the NFL to make some educated guesses.
Well, the reason I brought you on is you've been very good with your fantasy football in years past. You follow the NFL a lot, and yeah, I think you got what it takes to see what people, I think people will value your opinion. So let's get started. So this Thursday night, we got the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas. Who do you got tomorrow night?
I think both teams are terrible, but I take the Raiders.
You'll take the Raiders. I got the Raiders as well. Next, on Saturday, we got the Vikings at the Bengals. Who do you got?
Bengals.
Bengals. Okay. I got Bengals as well. Also on Saturday, we got the Steelers at the Colts. Who do you got?
That one's a little trickier. I am going to go Colts.
You're going Colts? Damn, this is not going to go well because I'm going Colts as well. Kenny Pickett got hurt last week.
Yeah.
The Steelers just can't move the ball. Even though they fired their offensive coordinator, they showed like 1 week of promise with over 400 yards. But ever since then, I just don't see him. The Colts have been winning a lot of games, so I got the Colts here.
First of all, Minshew madness. Second of all I needed to see was that Mitch Trubisky was starting for me to be very confident that the Colts will win.
And Trubisky's not using his legs as much as he used to do in Chicago, so that's why I don't see the Steelers winning this. Even though they probably are the better team on paper, I got the Colts, especially at home. It's hard to bet against a team that's at home. All right, here we go. Next, we got the Broncos at the Detroit Lions. Who do you got?
Ooh, unfortunately, Broncos. As much as I want to see the Lions come back, it's looking pretty bleak. They can't even beat the Bears.
I got Broncos as well. It's hard to bet against Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. They hit their flow. They're about, 5-6 game win streak now. The Lions have been losing a couple games as of late that they shouldn't be. They kind of look like pretenders. They're getting cold at the wrong time before the NFL playoffs. I'm starting to lose faith in the Lions. It's hard to root for them. They are at home, though, so I could see this swinging, but
no.
My gut says Broncos.
It's the Lions, after all. What did we expect?
All right, this one, pretty simple. I don't think we need to talk about much. Falcons at Panthers.
I mean, both teams are kind of garbage. So, that, I don't actually like, I mean, I'm going to choose the Falcons.
Oh, well, I'm taking the Falcons too.
Okay. I didn't know. I mean,
Carolina's the worst team in the NFL,
yeah,
and it's just terrible. I don't feel bad for them. What were they doing with the number 1 pick, taking Bryce Young? He's an undersized quarterback. They just thought it was a clear-cut pick. They brought in a coach, gave him only about 10 games to perform. They didn't let him develop his culture. It's a terrible team. They took Adam Thielen off the Vikings, who was a free agent, because the Vikings didn't want him anymore. Like, they're working with other teams' garbage, and what, you think they're going to win? No, they're a terrible team.
You know, the Falcons are known for blowing leads, famously. So, I don't know, anything's possible.
Anything is possible, but my gut says Falcons. They took care of business last week, which I got that game right against the Jets. My buddy Hodges thought the Jets were going to win by 2 scores. Made him verify that. Got him 2 losses on his record.
Weirdest take ever, by the way.
Got him 2 L's on that one. So Next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field.
Okay.
Who do you got?
This one is interesting. I mean, wow. The Packers, the way they ended Monday Night Football was just depressing.
On the road in New York for that game.
Against the Giants.
Yes.
I mean, I thought that was like their sure win. You know, when I looked at their schedule for the rest of the year when they started winning, I was like, oh shit, they might go undefeated. Like, this is pretty easy. All of these games are pretty easy. But then to lose to the Giants in the way that they did, I don't know. I mean, I'm still going to take them. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to take the Packers.
You're taking the Packers.
I am, because the Bucks, it's like, you want them, like, they have some very interesting pieces, and you just want to see Baker do well. But he always lets you down. And trust me, I have Chris Godwin on my fantasy team. I'm pretty sure he's, like, out this week. Yeah, there's nothing good about the Bucks from my perspective, really.
I think you're right. I think that's a safe pick. Green Bay in December at Lambeau. Yeah. They almost never lose games then. I see where you're coming from. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans needs a bounce-back game. He only had 8 yards last week. That was terrible. He's one of the best receivers in the NFL. Bucs need this win just as much as the Packers. The Bucs are narrowly holding on to the division lead by about a game right now. Packers know they're just playing for the wild card. I think that loss against the Giants on primetime TV is going to be in their head a little bit. I think that was just a catastrophic loss. I'm going Bucs. I'm going with the upset, and I know it's not the popular take, but I'm going Bucs.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, the Packers are getting hot. Jordan Love's looking serviceable and, like, somehow actually replicating some of Aaron Rodgers' stats at the same time in his career, which is just weird because when you watch him, you're like, no. This guy has no personality, and there's nothing that I could say about his game that makes me think he's an actual viable Packers franchise quarterback. But then you have this new rookie dude who just came out of nowhere, Reed, and I'm like, I mean, I've picked him up on the waivers, and he's probably going to be the reason I actually make a push in playoffs in one of my leagues. So I don't know, like, there's a little firepower there. So I think like that the hot young new things are gonna, like, Mike Evans I don't know, he's not what he used to be.
What do you mean? He's had 10 years of 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's one of the most consistent receivers in NFL history. And people
love to argue for Mike Evans, and I just don't think, like, I feel like I've had this argument with you like 20 times about how great Mike Evans is. And I'm not saying he's not great. He is great, but that's not enough to win. Like, just one good receiver with a mediocre at best quarterback, like.
I mean, Baker Mayfield's a mid-tier quarterback, but is
mediocre
Jordan
at best.
Okay, what is Jordan Love?
He's on the rise, though. Jordan Love is on the rise. Baker, I think, is like, we already know what he is and what he's going to be. Whereas Jordan Love is kind of like, oh, maybe he's more than we thought. Maybe he's actually something. Maybe there is actual, like, reason for the hype there. Whereas Baker, it's like, wow, there's so much hype. Everyone was obsessed with him. He's got all those stupid commercials, and he's just been nothing but a letdown for every team he's been on.
The reason I think the Bucs are going to win is we're almost done with the NFL season, and the Bucs do not have a winning record. There's no way somebody's going to win a division without a winning record in my head.
I mean, that doesn't even make sense
mathematically, it doesn't make sense. That's why I'm like, by numbers, they gotta win a game soon. Like, they gotta win, and their division is terrible.
It has to be.
They are.
I didn't even know they were winning. That just doesn't even make sense to me.
They're winning the division with a losing record, so that's why I think the numbers, the law of averages, gotta average out where they gotta have at least a 500 record to be winning that division, and that's why I got them winning this game.
Yeah, and the fix is in. Like, the NFL can't look bad and have like a losing record.
Right, it would look terrible for the league.
The narrative.
Yeah, the NFC South losing record, Bucs win the division. Like, I don't see it. I don't see it. That's why I think, and it's a great story for the Bucs to beat the Packers in the undefeated Lambeau in December. I think,
I'm still taking the Packers, but
I got Bucks. So you want me to verify that?
No, I'm not.
Are you willing to verify that the Packers are going to beat the Bucks?
I watch Monday Night Football. I will verify nothing for the Packers after that.
All right.
I would have verified them against the Giants and been wrong.
I think most of America would have.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Next, we got the Bears at Browns. The Bears have been winning a few games as of late. The Browns got Joe Flacco the last 2 games. He's kind of getting a little spunk to that offense. But Justin Fields has been coming on as of late to show that the Chicago should not draft Caleb Williams over him. Who do you got?
Yeah. Do I go first or do you? I forgot.
Who do you got?
Okay, so I hate the Bears, and people from Chicago hate me, as we found out this last weekend. So we're going to go with the Browns. But actually, I'm going with the Browns because Joe Flacco, I respect him in his game. I've watched him win some Super Bowls back in my early days of watching football. Bears are just a shit. So, they've won some recent matchups that I really thought were going to be no-brainers.
They beat the Lions, I think.
They beat the Lions and the Packers, and I was like, I don't know. They're on a hot streak, and I know everyone was all Justin Fields is going to be great, blah blah blah, but no. I think that the Browns have more talent all around, and even though they are the Browns, and just that name is just such a terrible connotation of failure. But honestly, it's both of them are, for me, just failures. And
who's the least likely to fail?
I think,
Browns at home.
Yeah, Browns at home.
Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. And, just generally, this has been lucky, I think, for the Bears to get those 2. I think they're lucky that the Lions are who everyone thought they were.
Well, I think the Bears, their 2 wins, they're in division, right? Those are kind of like trap games. Familiarity breeds failure, that's why, in division, you normally split, right? You normally win your home game, you lose your away game. So it's common practice to split, the 2 matchups per season that you play an opponent. So I don't take much from those wins by the Bears either. I think that's just kind of how the NFL works, you don't sweep through your division and go 6-0 normally unless you're a dynasty or a Super Bowl contender. Everybody kind of goes 500 ballpark in their division, give or take a game. If you're a better team, you go, 4-2. If you're a less quality team, you only get 2 wins. So I don't take much of the Bears wins. I got the Browns, even though Myles Garrett's been a little banged up. Joe Flacco, I honestly think, is really making that offensive passing game prolific. He's what the Browns wished Deshaun Watson was going to do to unlock Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, get that passing game going so they're not so run game dependent. He's efficient. He's putting it downfield. He's stretching out the zone of the defense. I really like what I'm seeing from the Browns, and the Browns are sneaky. They're getting hot at the right time. There's not much film on Flacco with this team, so they might make some noise if they can sneak into the playoffs. I got the Browns, and they need this game to stay in that hunt. The AFC is very competitive with those few wild card spots. I got the Browns.
That being said, the Browns are another team that will let you down in the most spectacular fashion.
I know. It's very true. It's very true.
Have you ever met a Browns fan who doesn't have a drinking problem?
No, but Joe Flacco, man, it's people forget how good he is.
It doesn't even make sense that he's on the Browns. You played for good teams.
He was on the Ravens. He beat up on the Browns for years, and now he's on the Browns, and he's helping the Browns out. And it's kind of ironic. It's funny, but I just think Flacco got dealt a weird card going to the Jets late in his career, and people when you're a certain age.
Old is he?
He's 38, I believe, or 35 or 38, somewhere in his mid to late 30s. But at the end of the day,
this is
his last hoorah, and I think he wants to make a little noise. I think people forgot how good he was. He was a franchise quarterback. He won a Super Bowl. He got one of the biggest contracts in NFL history at that time. He's a great player. The Ravens were very competitive and, competed for multiple years with him. It's just when they got this crazy flashy toy dropped into their lap in Lamar Jackson, they're like, damn, this is like we've never had something like this before, and Joe's gonna be getting old anyway, and we're kind of hovering around a 9-win team. Let's just put the young kid in and see what happens. And the fans loved him, and he sold jerseys, so they kind of kicked Joe out the door. But that's the nature of the beast in the NFL. You gotta go with the marketable player, the flashy new toy. Lamar's upside, it's hard to argue. You already got what you can out of Joe. The Ravens felt that's why they decided to move off of him. Joe handled like a professional. I just felt bad when he went to the Jets. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what his agent was thinking.
Except for Aaron Rodgers, because of his ego. Like, Aaron Rodgers was like, yeah, I can make that team. If anyone can do it, it's me.
But Rodgers going to the Jets now is different, though, because there are pieces. When Joe went, there was nothing. And when I saw that, I was just like, what? Like, damn, nobody wants Joe. But, that's crazy.
Joe also is so much better than who was, the backup quarterbacks for the Browns. Actually, he's better than
I think he's better than Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson.
So much hope. I was definitely one of those people who was like, he's going to come back and he's going to finish what he started in Texas.
He's sat out multiple years. The scandals, the issues. It's just, at the end of the day, you can't take that much time off of pro football and still be good. And he wasn't a natural passer to begin with. He was kind of an improv, I feel the rush coming from here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to make this crazy throw across my body. He's never really understood a football system that cleanly. Where Joe's a system guy, where he knows.
They couldn't be more different.
They couldn't be more different. And Joe's sturdiness and systematic approach is why the Browns are unlocking their ability to stretch the ball downfield. They have not had that in years. The last reminiscence of it was Baker's rookie year when he won Rookie of the Year. But then after that, Baker just fell off a cliff. He let the commercials didn't help him. He let the media talk about him not being a strong enough quarterback. And, the little things that Colin says got in his head. And you can just tell he's trying to prove his doubters wrong because he plays with a chip on his shoulder. And, that's why I really like the Browns.
That'll be a good one.
This is going to be a good matchup.
We'll watch that.
All right, next we got speaking of the Jets at the Miami Dolphins. It is going to be 76 degrees and raining in the city of Miami.
Wow.
Who do you got?
Very tropical of them. Obviously I'm taking the Dolphins because who takes the Jets? Unless you did. I don't know.
I'm going Dolphins. Yeah. They are at home. But the weather is a concern.
Also, the way that they lost that was them on Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Titans, historical.
That was the worst loss.
First time an NFL team in NFL history had a 14-point lead with 3 minutes to go and lost the game.
It was spectacular.
But that's why I feel like they're not going to lose again. They got to make that up.
We turned off that game and we're like, it's over.
Yeah, we hopped over the Packers-Giants and then we're like, wait, how'd the Titans score? Wait, the Titans made their 2-point conversion. Oh my gosh, wait, they're kicking it off and they went 3 and out that fast and they still have a timeout or two. That was terrible.
I think I could have understood it if they didn't have Tyreek Hill healthy. Well, he wasn't healthy, but he was he came back in the game. They didn't have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Mozart. I know that's not how you pronounce his name, but it's just I don't even really understand how you say it. Mozart.
Well, the Dolphins are a little banged up. That's what I was going to bring up. They're a little banged up. It's a wet weather game. The Jets are. Well, the game management was terrible.
Game.
The game.
Your coach is supposed to be this nerdy little whiz kid. Manage the game. What are you doing?
Now, their coach did not manage that well. All they had to do was run the ball and then punt it back and make them play defense for about a minute or less. Get an incomplete pass or whatever it was to stop the clock was just criminal. Mike McDaniel, I'm shocked for somebody who's smart. I don't think that was
bad.
Well, they got him in 2nd and 6, right? They ran the ball, 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6. Titans called timeout. Then we went off to the other game. Then we came back. We're like, wait, how did only 10 seconds elapse? And the Titans got the ball, and they still have a timeout or two. That was just terrible clock management by the Dolphins.
Do you remember the 2 fuck-ups that made us change channels? It was the fuck the muff punt that led to literally a red zone opportunity
Yeah.
for the Dolphins that they did convert.
And then the toss with the quarterback's offhand to Derrick Henry, which is like Derrick Henry's too big and stiff to be like receiving offhand tosses. Just put it in his gut and tell him to go forward. That's not how you use Derrick Henry.
That's two fatal errors that they somehow came back from being a team that's not good. Like, I mean, I don't know. The Titans is arguable. I'm starting to have a little bit more faith in them after that, because to have the grit to come back from two mistakes like that and not just
criminal. I thought they were going to give up. I was like, there's no way the defense is going to want to be on the field, back-to-back red zones, by back-to-back mistakes, without even plays in between. Right. It was literally turnover, back in the red zone. And, the defense gave up their touchdowns, but then the offense made up for it. That was crazy. And
I think Will Levis is giving them some spark and some hope, because the quarterback play up until him has been so, unremarkable.
Well, no, he's physical specimen. He's a big, strong arm kid, tough as nails. He has that Ben Roethlisberger, Josh Allen, just fearless leader. That's hard for our locker room not to rally behind. Tannehill just never had that, that quarterback leadership ability on the field. I felt I never thought that he should have got that extension after that one season. They did well in the playoffs. I thought that was a joke, but
I couldn't tell you what Tannehill looks like. I couldn't tell you anything about him because it's just so boring.
He's a terrible player. At this stage of his career, in his 30s,
why does he still have a job? It's because
I don't get it. They overpaid for him.
Despo at the moment.
They overpaid for him. They had a good playoff run with him and Derrick Henry, but at the end of the day, that was just all Derrick Henry. Yeah. He didn't do shit, and they paid him $100 million. That was terrible. So they kept him. The Titans have him on the roster because they overpaid for him. They did a 4-year deal with him. He's on year 3, I believe, of the deal, but that was a terrible deal. They should never have paid him.
This might be a controversial take, but he kind of reminds me of Cutler.
No, Keller could throw the ball. Keller at least stretch it downfield, and they were interceptions.
I'm saying just towards the end of Cutler's career, where he's just getting paid ridiculous money and just sucked, and he's just an absolute disaster.
Tannehill, I wouldn't even at least Cutler had a thing about him that you had to game plan for. Nobody in the NFL fears Ryan Tannehill when they play him. They don't game plan for him.
Actually, I mean,
nobody game plans. Cutler, you're damn, he could throw it. We got to worry about
him. So you're kind of oh, maybe we should pay him because he's Ryan Tannehill.
No.
But then you're sort of what are we getting out of this? We're getting nothing. You might as well just throw in a rookie.
Well, that's what they did.
Yeah.
And I got to commend the Titans for failing with the other rookie, Malik Willis.
I forgot about him.
They drafted him the year before. They tried him. They're oh gosh. No, kid's dumb as rocks. He can't read a playbook.
Maybe throw him at running back or defense.
Yeah, he can only run with the ball in his hands, but he's not that good. But I commend the Titans for realizing he's not that good. They had a chance to go get another quarterback. They did. Kind of reminds me of the Cardinals when they drafted that one kid, and then the next year they went and got Kyler Murray. If they don't got it, don't hope, and that's why I think the Bears have made the mistake, of keeping Justin Fields around for multiple years. If you don't see anything after year 1, move on. There's so many quarterbacks that come out, and if they don't have it, they just don't have it. Yeah. So don't waste your time with that. Speaking of that, we've been diving into the Titans so much. Let's talk about their matchup. Texans at Titans. Who do you got?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I would have said Texans without a doubt before Tank Dell got hurt and Dalton Schultz. Is Dalton Schultz back?
I don't know.
So that is, I would have looked that up beforehand just to know who the personnel is, because
gut reaction.
But I can't.
CJ Stroud's an MVP candidate.
Is he healthy?
I believe so. MVP candidate quarterback with a surprise team in the AFC, or the Titans that we talked about, who were before that Monday night, victorious, win. They were 4-8. Let's be real. They have been underperforming all seasons. The Texans have been overperforming, in a way, but not over. It's just we didn't see it coming, and that's the greatness of CJ Stroud. So, are you taking a quarterback who's playing top 5 in the NFL right now, or are you going to go with this Titans team?
This is the hardest pick so far. Earlier, a couple weeks ago, I would have said Texans, without even thinking twice. But like you said, I think the Titans are heating up, and they do have Derrick Henry, who is healthy. So I feel like you can't deny that having a for like an adequate quarterback, assuming he continues to play well, plus Derrick Henry. So they have to defend the pass and the run. I kind of, I'll go and say the Titans are going to keep the streak going, and I think we're going to see the Texans start to maybe fade out a little bit. That's my guess.
Are you willing to verify that?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll verify.
You got Titans over Texans.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, loud and clear. I'm going to verify that I think the Titans are going to continue their win streak, and they're going to impress us and beat the Texans, even with the MVP candidate.
Wow. Well, I got the Texans. Tank Dell is just one of 3 receivers they had. There's a reason he's an MVP candidate. They're playing good football. I think the Titans, that was a fun win, historic win. But, they were 4-8 before that. And last time Will Levis did have a good game, his first game, he threw 4 touchdowns. Remember, he's been a little quiet since then. He's kind of, they've lost 2 games, and then all of a sudden he pulls this rabbit out of his ass, at the end of Monday night. And I like the Titans. I do like the players on the Titans better than the Texans, but logically speaking, I gotta go with the better quarterback play. CJ Stroud's playing at an unbelievable level. I gotta ride that. I got Texans over Titans. Next, we got this one is another terrible matchup. We got the Giants at the Saints. Who do you got? Does Danny DeVito continue his 3-1 record on the road against the Saints?
Yes, because the Saints are a disaster.
You got the Giants?
Yeah.
You got Giants over Saints.
I got Giants over Saints.
Are you willing to verify that?
As somebody who has owned, that's right, they do have Kamara, though. Because I was going to say, the passing game for the Saints is just so bad and so hard to watch. And I'm pretty sure Taysom Hill is out still, too. Is he?
I don't know.
You don't know. So,
Your gut reaction says Giants. Are you willing to verify that?
Well,
say it loud and clear.
The mobster guy on the sideline makes me scared. I feel like he's going to come to my doorstep and with a group of people beat the shit out of me if I say anything else. But, I just...
Are you willing to go on record and verify that the Giants will beat the Saints on the road? Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to verify that because, honestly, I like this whole DeVito thing. I think it's really entertaining. That's his name, right?
Yep.
Yeah, DeVito. It's funny. It's entertaining. It's very New York. And, the NFL loves a good narrative, like I said earlier. And I hate the Saints. So, as much as, I do think Alvin Kamara will continue to be a solid RB1 for me in my dominant fantasy team, a running back is not going to be the reason that the team wins after I just said Derrick Henry.
Well, I got the Saints at home. They got better weapons. The quarterback play has been inconsistent.
Wait. What weapons do they have?
Michael Thomas, Olave, Kamara.
Michael Thomas is on IR. And Olave is hurt. I'm pretty sure both of them are hurt.
I think Olave's...
Derek Carr hasn't been able to get them the ball.
And Derek Carr's hurt himself.
Yeah, so what are you talking about? You didn't even look. You didn't even research.
I did not. I want just natural gut reaction right now.
Yeah, but if you were a depressed fantasy owner like me who went all in on Saints receivers thinking Derek Carr was going to have his comeback, you would know it's not going well. Didn't that one Saints receiver he was so distraught after the game. I forgot what his name is.
Olave got arrested.
Yeah, he got arrested because
him and Michael Thomas got arrested in the same offseason.
They're so mad about how poorly their team is doing that they're just.
But that's why I feel like they're due for a win.
They're
due for a win. It's the NFC South. I don't believe in the Giants winning 2 games in a row. This team's just...
Only thing I'll give you is Kamara. That's it.
Well, Kamara's better, and you're at home. All you have to do is manage the clock, run the ball, be smart. This is going to be a low-scoring game. You just got to, just be the lesser of, idiot of 2 teams between these 2 teams. And I just don't think... I think Kamara is going to carry them to a victory. Kamara always plays way better at home. The Saints play better at home as well. That's why I got the Saints here. So you disagree with me? So you want me to verify?
Yeah, I'll verify the Giants.
Do you want me to verify my take?
Yeah, I would love that because you're wrong.
All right, so ask me.
Do you verify that?
Say it less stupid.
That's what you sound like. Do you verify that the Saints are going to beat the Giants at home?
Yes, I'm willing to verify that the Saints are going to beat the Giants at home. This is going to be an interesting, low-scoring game, but I got the home team in this one. All right, next, here we go. Ooh, this one is going to, I feel like we're going to talk a lot about. Chiefs versus Patriots in New England. Who do you got and why?
Why do you think we're going to talk about this a lot?
There's a lot to talk about.
Really?
You're a Patriots fan, are you not?
Yeah, we've had a great year. Our coach is fired. It's official. Right?
Almost. End of the season. They're going to let him finish it out.
Still, you think he's going to give a
fuck for the rest? It's like when the teacher, or what is it? It's like when somebody puts in their 2-week notice and they're just like still staying to help transition. Like, no, he's going to be sitting there and giving his clipboard to Reek Belichick. Mm-hmm. You know who Reek Belichick is, right? Everyone, the son, the hill person, the one who literally looks like, I don't even know what, a Neanderthal. Yeah, he should be the head coach. He's probably too busy bashing his head into a clipboard. But no, I mean, look, like, the Chiefs are definitely going to win. Like, the Patriots have the worst. The Patriots have a good defense, so they'll put up a fight, and the score might not be super high. It's not going to be like a fireworks show. Taylor Swift will probably be there, so everybody will be shitting their pants about that. Travis Kelce will probably get a couple touchdowns because he's got a boner. And, like, generally the Patriots' front line will continue to be impressive for a shitty team. But let's be real, the Patriots' offense there's nothing redeeming. They should have put Bailey Zappi in earlier. Probably, like, if they would have let him start the season, I could have seen us being in a different place. Like, I could have seen this conversation being different if we hadn't pretended that Mac Jones was actually a starting quarterback for as long as we did. Like, was that a joke? Was somebody paid off for that? Like, does Bill have some sort of, like, handshake under the table agreement? Are they diddling each other in the showers? Why was that person on the field for this whole fucking season? And then, our star running back went down. It's okay because we have Ezekiel Elliott, which I always gambled on. I gambled on him on, like, every fantasy team, and he's doing pretty well. So the run game's there-ish, but wow, that's not going to, again, a running back is not going to make your offense somehow, like, serviceable, especially against the Chiefs. And the Chiefs' defense has never been that prolific or interesting, but this year they do actually seem pretty solid. And, like, let's be real, Patrick Mahomes is so mad after last week that he's going to go into that, like, crazy savant mode and just slice and dice and come out and turn into fire Mahomes and go into playoff Mahomes mode. And again, Taylor Swift will be there, so.
Gotcha. So Kat got the Chiefs over her favorite team, the Patriots. Now, I'm going to throw some facts out there for you, okay? First of all, I think this is a legacy game. Even though Bill knows he's done, here we got another opportunity lined up. I personally believe it's the Chargers, but we won't know till later on. Bill versus Andy Reid, all-time coach, that's been a topic. I don't know why. Bill has so many more rings than Andy Reid. It's not even close. Here's some facts. Bill versus Andy Reid in the regular season. Bill has 6 wins. Andy Reid only has 2. Playoffs, Bill got 2 wins. Andy Reid only got 1. So I think for a legacy coaching game, even though Bill knows he's on his way out, he's not going to go down without a fight for this one. Like, he doesn't have many games left with the Patriots, but, he doesn't want Andy Reid to surpass him. The Patriots are at home. The Patriots do play better when they're at home. Zappy, it is a little too late, obviously for this season to make a playoff noise, but, Zappy has made that offense a little better. They're actually moving the ball a little bit. When the Patriots win, they win ugly. They win trap games that they're not supposed to win. I got the Patriots upsetting the Chiefs because Bill just doesn't want people to ever think Andy Reid's on his tier. I think Bill's going to put whatever, effort he got left in him to beat Andy Reid. The Chiefs have been playing mediocre at best all season. Fun fact, Sam Howell has more fantasy points than Patrick Mahomes this year. The Chiefs' offense is abysmal. Looney, is it Looney? Tony.
Basically
Tony.
Looney.
It feels like Looney, the way he plays.
Hands like feet.
Hands like feet.
Isn't he the one who was over the line? Yeah.
The kid does so many stupid things. I'm calling him Looney until he figures it out. He's terrible. Rashid Rice is the number one by default because there's nobody else. He's not actually a number one on any competent team. At best, he's a third option. Travis Kelce's limping around the field. He's barely getting up and down the field. His eyes are off the field, focused more on other endeavors than playing football. I got the Chiefs losing this one. They have a strong hold of their division. Bill... this is how these trap games happen. Yeah. This is a trap game. I don't care if the Chiefs have a top 5 defense. What is Bill good at? He's a good defensive coach too. I think Bill's gonna pull out an ugly one. He
does know how to win ugly.
He knows how to win ugly, and it's a Sunday afternoon game. Not much eyes on it. I think the Chiefs, are going to roll in, just think they're going to win.
Yeah.
And Bill's going to put way more effort towards it because it means more to him. I got Patriots upsetting the Chiefs.
You going to verify that?
I am willing to verify that the Patriots will upset the Chiefs this weekend in a legacy matchup between Bill and Andy Reid. All right, next, we got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to the Cardinals. Who do you got?
49ers. Done.
They are double-digit favorites. 49ers are just stacked across the board.
There's nothing to say.
There's nothing weak about their team. It's concerning they did lose their safety to a knee injury. But at the end of the day, Kyler's coming off a torn ACL as well. And, he doesn't have much to work with.
Cardinals kind of suck.
They have no defense. I got the 49ers. And I got the 49ers covering the 12.5 point spread.
Oh, shit. Okay, so you're, really gambling on that one. Like Vegas gambling.
I am. I mean, obviously, the money line, you're not going to make much on that one. But, when you're willing to bet on the spread, that's where you can, bet on a favorite. And if you're right, you can make more money. But I think they're going to just dog them.
Safe bet of the week?
I wouldn't say safe bet of the week. I mean, the straight up safe bet of the week, but if we're going by points, 12.5 is a lot to cover in sports betting. That's pretty tough to cover, but I got the 49ers. They're going to dog the Cardinals.
They will. Let's be real. They're Super Bowl contenders, and the Cardinals are just, almost at the level of the Panthers with how they're just not even worth having a conversation about.
All right. Let's move on. We got the Washington Commanders traveling to the Los Angeles Rams. Who do you got?
Oh, who's at quarterback for the Rams?
Stafford.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is he? Wow, that's tough. I mean, I have been to a few Rams games, and they are always disappointing and boring. Puka Nakua is actually pretty exciting. And the other guy, the running back, somehow is
Williams.
Williams is doing pretty good, too.
Top 5 running back statistically in fantasy.
Yeah, which is, for me, that what?
And he's only played half the season.
Yeah, I don't, that doesn't compute for me, but... the Commanders, I don't know. I
got Sam Howell leads the league in passing yards.
I want to say the Commanders will win.
Commanders on the road.
Yeah, because I've never seen the Rams act like they have an advantage playing at SoFi. It doesn't seem like their home stadium. Maybe that's because I'm more of a Charger kind of girl. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Commanders. I've seen more bright spots from them. Just across the board.
Are you willing to verify that? The Commanders beat the Rams.
Yeah, sure, I'll verify that.
Okay.
Hodge is going to be mad about that.
I got the whole opposite. I got Rams. Rams, when they win at home. Kyron Williams is, healthy. He's playing very well. Cooper Kupp's, got back from his injury as well.
Cooper's back.
You got Cooper, you got Puka, you got Williams, you got Stafford, who's somehow healthy. I don't know how, but I always feel like he's not, but he is. The Rams just can throw the ball, run the ball. Their defense is shockingly, adequate and serviceable. Commanders, the only reason Sam Howell is that high up in the leaderboards in passing yards is because they're always losing. So they just tell the kid, hey, go out there and sling it and see what happens. So he gets a lot of garbage time yards. Those aren't real yards that are in the real flow of the game. That's more when teams are just sitting back in cover 4 and hoping you don't throw it deep on them. He's just checking it down and hitting short
Does he still have
routes.
Scary Terry?
He got Terry. He got Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, there's some
He has
interesting-
Lance Logan at tight end. The Commanders have passing pieces, but at the end of the day, their 2 running back system has not panned out the way people thought it would between Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams literally is doing what they've always needed at the running back position. It's almost outlandish to say but it's like Todd Gurley numbers, He's getting 100 yards on the ground, 50 receiving, and at least 1 touchdown each way.
Yeah.
He's the McVay perfect running back. Versatile, zone read, moves the ball, efficient. That was the thing that I felt made the Rams not that good at the beginning of the season, was that starting running back who I hated. And they got rid of it at the Vikings.
Akers?
Cam Akers, I thought was one of the worst draft picks the Rams could have ever taken. I think they took him the second round.
Even the Vikings don't want him.
Yeah, the Vikings were just trying to challenge Alexander Madison because he wasn't setting the world on fire like they hoped. So I understand healthy competition. That's why they brought Cam Akers in. But Cam Akers sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck the Rams were doing when they had this, this toy and Kyron Williams behind him the whole time. I don't know how you didn't see it in practice that the kid is that good. And Kyron Williams has really changed the Rams. I think I got Rams at SoFi beating the Commanders. And we got Kat verifying the Commanders are going to beat the Rams.
You know why? Because I think that the Rams should win. And because they should win, they won't.
Okay. And if there's ever...
They're that kind of team. When they're supposed to win,
so you want me to verify my take?
Sure.
That's
I know you love to say that I'm wrong and you're right. So do you want to verify that?
I'm willing to verify the Rams are going to win at home against the Commanders. Next, we got the Baltimore Ravens traveling to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jags.
Who do you got? Ravens at Jags, Sunday night primetime television. Who do you got? Ravens on the road or the Jags at home?
As much as I want the Jags to win, because aren't they leading their division still?
They're up there, yeah.
Their record was insane.
They were, I think, 9-3 or 8-3.
Yeah.
It was crazy before they lost that primetime game the other week.
And then it's just, it's crazy though. They were doing so well, and
I know. I bet on them. That was my first verified take. I said they were going to beat the Bengals, even if their quarterback got hurt, and they couldn't put them away at home. So
it was so hard to watch.
Yeah,
I watched that at the gym and was just throwing my hands up and losing my mind because. This guy, I think his name's CJ Beathard, right?
Yeah, Beathard on the
Where
Jags.
did he come from? I've seen him before. I've seen him before.
He's a backup. He's been a backup for at least 10 years.
But he's definitely played on another team before, but the guy acted like
he's a career backup.
Yeah, he acted like he'd never played a game.
Because he wasn't supposed to be in.
He definitely wasn't.
It's when you have a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, you sign the most professional, least talented backup. So your guy doesn't feel threatened, that he'd ever lose his job. And Beathard's one of those career professional backups. So he never thought in his wildest dreams he would have to play.
He only really needed to do he needed to string together one drive, and he couldn't even do that. It was just stupid.
Pathetic.
But yeah, because
Lawrence is dealing with this high sprained ankle.
That's why I know that the Jags are going to lose. It's Ravens all day.
Yeah, I got Ravens too. Jags on primetime. There's a reason that the NFL took them off for so many years. I think it was about a decade they kept the Jags off primetime television. There's a reason. It's the Jags. The Jags will jag even if they have a winning record. they'll lose games that they
and the
shouldn't
Ravens are good.
lose to. And, you know, high ankle sprain is a serious injury for especially a tall quarterback to deal with. It's not like a low ankle sprain where you just tape it up and throw them out there and hope for the best. High ankle sprain, that's more of like a 4-week injury, and it does affect your mechanics, pivoting and throwing. Trevor Lawrence does revolve a lot on his play action boot play.
Yep.
If he plays, which I assume he's going to. I think he's going to be a statue. He's going to be in his head. Lamar is in the prime of, you know, his powers right now.
They look good. The Ravens look good. And it's not just one receiver either.
Well, Lamar always does well in prime time, too. Like, Lamar is a superstar. Like, the brighter the lights, the better he plays during the regular season. Jags do not play well in prime time, hence the NFL took them off for 10 plus years because they're embarrassing to watch when the lights are bright. So I got the Ravens over the Jags. Next, we got this is a matchup. This one I could see going either way, even though there's one of these teams I hate with a passion. Mm-hmm. We got Cowboys at Buffalo.
Yeah, that one is tough because, like...
Cowboys got the monkey off their back and beat their big brother in the Philadelphia Eagles by 20 last week. Now, the Cowboys were at home for that, but they did get that, you can't beat your big brother Philly.
Yeah.
So they smacked them by 20. So the Cowboys have been winning. They finally beat a team with a winning record. They don't have any major injuries of note to notate. Yeah. But Buffalo has been kind of
lucky,
waking up a little bit. They've been underperforming all season. Hence, they had a losing record, about halfway through the season, which nobody predicted.
Yeah.
Josh Allen leads the NFL in interceptions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yet again.
I'm a huge Josh Allen fan.
I am too. He also set an NFL record for one of only 3 quarterbacks to ever. I believe it's throw for 25 touchdowns and rush for 10 touchdowns in the same season.
Oh, that's
so it's a roller coaster. Either puts up a lot of points or he gives it back to you. So who do you got? Do you got the Dallas Cowboys on the road, or do you got Buffalo winning at home to try to stay alive for the playoffs?
I got the Cowboys because, after seeing that barely win against the Chiefs, playing kind of a shitty game, I don't feel like, the Bills just aren't, this whole season they've been underwhelming. And I really like Josh Allen, and his game is that's exactly the kind of football I want to watch. I want to see a quarterback who runs, who stiff arms, who hurdles people, who could throw the ball deep, but also can read the field and understand when to check down. But their offense it's just not clicking. The chemistry's not there. Whereas the Cowboys have an abundance of chemistry and less talent. Their quarterback is less talented, but they have these flashy receivers like CeeDee Lamb. I know you don't like Cooks, but he does occasionally make some pretty big plays. And then the Cowboys defense is insane. You think that if he's leading the league in interceptions, you think he's not going to throw any to one of the best defenses? I think they are the best defense in the league, probably.
They're somewhere in consideration. Okay, so you got I think most people would say the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the other way here. I got the Bills. The Cowboys got an emotional win last week, beating the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're going to kind of look past the Bills because the in-division game and the winning record thing that the media keeps talking about, I think, wore on them, and I think they're going to kind of look past the Bills. They don't really need this win as bad as the Bills do. The Bills need this to survive.
It's true.
The Bills have one of the hardest remaining schedules in the NFL, and they're fighting and clawing to make a playoff spot. Obviously, the Bills, as you mentioned, their offense hasn't been flowing since Brian Daboll left to become a head coach. It's just been inconsistent play by Josh Allen. He was the only one to really get Josh Allen efficient, and that's when the Bills were as great as they were about a year or two ago. But yeah, I mean, the Bills are very Josh Allen reliant, but this is a Sunday night primetime game, and I got to take the superstar quarterback. Dak is not a superstar quarterback.
No, he's not.
I'm taking the better athlete, the one who has more to prove. I got Josh Allen at home beating the favored Cowboys. It's hard to bet against a team at home, especially when it's extreme weather conditions.
Yes.
This is Buffalo, mid-December. Cowboys are an indoor, warm weather state team. Their run game is not mean. Tony Pollard was, supposed to be so good that they didn't need Zeke Elliott anymore, and that obviously has not been shown to be proven. He's a flash in the pan. He's a third down running back who can, just be really efficient, 10 carries a game, but that's it. You can't ask him to be an every down back. The Cowboys made a fatal mistake this offseason by doing that to him. You see his numbers drop dramatically because of that. So the Cowboys are going to have to run the ball, and they're not going to be able to run the ball with Tony Pollard in the cold in Buffalo. I got Buffalo winning a physical football game at home, and the Bills somehow stay alive for the playoff race still after this week 15. Next, last but not least, we got the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the Seattle Seahawks Monday Night Football. Who do you got?
Eagles. They got to come back after that loss.
Multiple losses.
I mean, yeah, they got to show that they are the dominant team they're supposed to be.
So it was Cowboys and
actually.
49ers, I believe.
Okay, but those are like two really good teams. I think
they are.
They're clearly better than the Seahawks. Like, Seahawks, the Seahawks have had some like interesting wins, but I don't think they're going to pull it out against the Eagles. Like, I think the Eagles have had enough with the losing, and it's time for them to, show that they still have that Super Bowl mentality.
I agree. I'm on the same page. I got the Eagles. They played against the other two contenders in the NFC. It is very concerning if you're an Eagles fan that you got dog walked by the Cowboys that bad. And, the 49ers, I think, had their way pretty much with them as well. The Eagles, it's tough when you're playing against teams that are Super Bowl contending teams in your conference. Sometimes you almost throw those games because you don't want to show too much of what you're going to do. Jalen Hurts been playing with a bad knee. I think, the Eagles, they were playing to win, but they didn't want to show everything they had. They didn't want to put Jalen in a position to get hurt. I think they played very conservatively against those two opponents because those wins for them really didn't matter. The Cowboys did, though, for the division, but I got the Eagles bouncing back. This is an easy one to bounce back from. The Seahawks. Kenneth Walker went down a couple weeks ago. Geno looked pretty banged up the other week too. Geno's been a little banged up, inconsistent this season. I just Seattle's defense is so at best. I mean, they still got old Bobby Wagner trying to anchor that defense.
No.
I don't believe in the Seahawks. I think the Eagles need a bounce back statement game. So I got the Eagles winning this one. Chargers at Raiders. Who do you got and why?
I think both teams suck. And I am a Chargers fan. So the reason I think they suck is because Justin Herbert is out for the season, and I don't know who this backup guy is. Something like Sticks. Stick. Okay. Whatever. I don't have confidence in a guy named Stick leading my team to victory. So I'm going to go with no on that. Not that the Raiders have anything that they're working with that's super scary, but they do have Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, so that'll probably be enough. Especially since this Stick guy is like just getting to know the receivers, and whoever this backup is in Vegas has had like way more games. Is it still O'Connell? Yeah, I saw him early on and he was bad, but he's got to figure out how to throw to Devontae Adams by this point. So
yeah, we went and actually saw that game when the Raiders traveled to the Chargers earlier in the season. O'Connell got sacked 6 times by Khalil Mack. It was, I think, an NFL record, if I'm not mistaken, for a single game. It was crazy. Poor kid got thrown in the fire, but the reason the Raiders throw him out there is, they believe in him because he has a big arm. He's willing to stretch it downfield. His pocket awareness obviously needs some work. He gets sacked 6 times by the same player. I've never heard of that, so that's pretty bad pocket awareness.
It's a bad game.
But the Raiders, if they're gonna win, they're gonna win at home. They're 4-3 at home. They're 1-5, I believe, on the road. So, this is a perfect recipe for the Raiders. They get a home game against a division rival, whose starting quarterback's out for the season. They're throwing in a backup who was signed to not be a threat to take Herbert's job. Easton Stick, I believe. I got Raiders winning this one. This is a typical regular season Raiders win. They have an easy opponent at home, and the Raider fans go crazy. Oh, we're great.
Yeah.
And they're all belligerently drunk
Yes.
at Allegiant Stadium.
It's going to be a very fun place to be that day.
Well, it's actually tomorrow where we're at.
Oh, is it?
Go.
Oh, yeah. No thanks. I'm good.
But yeah, we already saw him play this season. I feel bad for Devontae Adams. He's kind of rotting away, but that's his own fault. He went for the money. He didn't want to stay with Rodgers, and Rodgers was like, well, damn, I don't want to stay here.
He blew up the franchise.
Yeah, Devontae, when you chase money sometimes in the NFL, you're going to play with less talented players, and you got to realize that and not pout about it.
You know what?
I'm a little disappointed in Devontae leaving like that. And
Devontae, you're not bigger than your team, and you do need a good quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought Jimmy Garoppolo.
This goes out to all those diva receivers who think they're too good for their quarterback.
Well, he did go to play with Derek Carr, his college buddy.
Buddy.
You should know that.
You play with your buddy and not Aaron Rodgers.
But you should know that Derek Carr, going into that, was the longest-term AFC quarterback prior, and no quarterback stays with a team more than 10 seasons, and Derek Carr was at year 12, so if it didn't work, they were going to get Canham right away. So I don't know what Devontae was thinking signing that long-term deal there. But yeah, Raiders going to not smack, they're going to win.
It'll be closer than it should.
It'll be closer than it should because both teams are terrible.
But the Chargers defense is actually not bad.
On paper, they should be elite. They're starting to play better than they did at the beginning of the season. They held the Cowboys, I believe, only 20 points in that win.
Yeah.
Which was impressive. They're starting to come alive, but at the end of the day, they don't have their franchise quarterback. Their head coach is going to probably be canned at the end of the season. My theory is Bill Belichick's coming over from the Patriots.
Fingers crossed.
That's my fingers crossed. That'd be nice.
Follows me to LA. I think Bill's following me to LA.
It'd validate us getting Chargers season tickets because I hate Staley as a coach. He's terrible.
We love yelling at Staley when we go to the games, and it's not just us. It's damn near everyone in our section.
Yeah, nobody who's a Chargers fan believes in Staley. They need a change in leadership. They need a big splash move if they got Herbert on this mega deal in his prime, especially with him being out for the season with a hand injury. It's just, it puts it in reality hey, this kid's not invincible. He's not going to be alive and perfect forever. We got to maximize his potential now. And the only way you do that is by getting a big name coach. Look at the Broncos signing Sean Payton. They revived Russell Wilson's career. Yeah. You need a big all-time coach. If you're in a big city market like LA, the Staley guy's a joke, a fraud, should never have been hired. And
I hope he doesn't get a job again because I don't want anyone to have to feel the way I've felt at those games.
I don't see him getting a job, but we got the Raiders. Both of us got the Raiders beating the Chargers. Next, let's go over the Vikings at Bengals. Why do you got the Bengals?
I mean, the Vikings are a disaster. And
they're switching quarterbacks.
Oh,
they're benching Dobbs.
I did hear that.
They're benching Dobbs and starting Nick Mullins. If you remember, Nick Mullins came in for the 49ers a couple of years ago when Jimmy Garoppolo was hurt. Won a couple games. I think he went 3-1 or 2-1 during that stretch. Jimmy rolled his ankle. So Nick Mullins put up some big yards with the Niners, but it's the Niners. Anybody can put up big yards. But he's in line to start for the Vikings, and they got Justin Jefferson back. So you still got Bengals.
Yeah, because the Vikings are the Vikings. I am from Minnesota, and I know how that team operates. And if you give them any sort of hurdle, obstacle, anything that is going to make things hard, they are going to crash and burn spectacularly. So, and also the Bengals backup,
Jake Browning's doing pretty well.
He's actually he's not doing
as
too
bad as I think most of us thought he was going to be. But yeah, I think I got the Bengals as well. Better running back in Joe Mixon, more consistent. receivers kind of cancel each other out in a way. You got, Justin Jefferson versus Jamar Chase. Then you got, Addison versus, Tyler Boyd, or there's even the other one, T. Higgins.
Yeah, no, honestly, the depth on the Bengals is
Bengals have better weapons, and they have the better quarterback, the more proven quarterback. Nick Mullins is the third quarterback the Vikings have used this season now that Kirk Cousins went down. So you got a second-string quarterback versus a third-string quarterback. I'll take the second-string quarterback, who's actually on a flow any day of the week over a third-string quarterback. Oh, yeah. Especially the Vikings are on the road. Home teams normally win about 63% of all games. Mm-hmm. I got the Bengals winning this one against the Vikings. Next, we got Steelers at Colts. Who do you got and why?
Steelers at Colts. I obviously have the Colts because I think I went into this a fair amount. Minshew Madness, I'm a big fan. But also, Mitch Trubisky is just god-awful. And just the entire... Even when they had their starting quarterback for the Steelers, they were hard to watch this year. They're just so bad. I don't know. They had moments where I'm sort of okay, Najee Harris is kind of getting it. Things are kind of moving, and then, something catastrophic will happen, and then they're right back to where they started. And it's crazy to me that a team can be that bad with one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Steelers, even though they always finish with a 500 or above record with Mike Tomlin, he's never finished an NFL season. They are on the road. They have not learned how to use their offensive weapons very well. It's
I don't even know who their receivers are because they...
Deontay Johnson. Yeah. And then they also got the kid who makes the crazy one-handers, George Pickens.
I remember.
Then they have Freiermuth at tight end. And I don't know why these guys can't be consistent, Obviously, Matt Canada, the offense coordinator that they fired a few weeks ago, is in the way. First game after they fired him, they had over 400 yards. So, sometimes it's a philosophy thing, but you have two running backs in Warren and Najee Harris. Najee Harris, I don't get it. He was the number one recruited high school running back in the nation. He went to Alabama. He was supposed to set the NFL on fire, and all season I've heard from Steeler fans, there's talks of him getting benched for Warren. I just don't get how these pieces aren't working together, and then losing your, mid-tier crap young quarterback in Kenny Pickett with an injury, going to Trubisky, which literally had basically the same career path as Kenny Pickett, underperforming, young guy who's probably reached for. And Trubisky's not even using his strength to his advantage of running or moving his legs that much. At least in Chicago, he won some games by moving. He made a Pro Bowl game one season by, running while he threw. The game I saw him inserted last week, he just kind of stood there and trying to scan the field like he's a pocket quarterback when he's really not. Hence, the Bears moved off of him. I don't know. I got Minshew Madness. Colts, if they do win, they win at home. Their receivers have been pretty consistent. The Steelers are gonna not win this one. I got Colts. It'll be another boring, ugly game. But
also, the Colts have Taylor, Jonathan Taylor.
Isn't he out for the season?
Oh, is he again?
Yeah, I broke his hand.
No, I just started seeing a couple Colts games where he was back in, and I was like, damn, he still has it. That's amazing. And of course, the 1 week I missed the game, he's fucked.
No, it's Michael Pittman at receiver who's helping carry
never
them.
mind.
They're efficient. Minshew's playing loose.
I still picked the Colts for the record.
I got Colts too because Minshew's playing loose and they got nothing to lose.
He's a Zen guy. He's a yoga guy. You like to have that guy at quarterback. You like to have a Zen guy at quarterback because it's so rare and weird. How does that even work?
Well, I think the Steelers are trying to make something out of nothing, and they need this game. And I just think they're too young in the locker room. There's also a scandal going on with T.J. Watt.
Oh, really?
He got concussed. The NFL thinks they cut corners on his concussion protocol, so he's questionable for the game.
I thought you meant foot fetish scandal.
No, not Rex Ryan. Yeah. No, not Rex Ryan. But concussion protocol issues, that's going to be a distraction all week in that locker room. Colts, they're playing loose, nothing to lose. I got them winning at home. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
This is Verify That Sports with your host, John Kaker. This is my wife,
Cat Kaker. Verify that.
And we'll see who's right with this NFL Week 15 pick'em. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share at the link below. Peace.